The next little case study is what was started with Popular Community Bank. It has since been renamed to Popular Bank, but it all started with a project in Brooklyn. William Foley, my business partner, this is a picture of him, and they had found these two storefronts, and it was approximately 2,400 square feet. Now, their average branch in the city was roughly 4,000 to 5,000 feet, so this was a big departure for them. And their current architect had kind of designed, they basically skinnied down their 5,000 footer, came up with this design. At that time, they reached out to us and said, this is not the direction that we want to go. We really want to be more open concept, universal platform, more technology. So we worked through a weekend to come up with what we call a branch critique and came up with this design. And although I'm not going to go through the whole design, we're going to be focusing here on this ATM area, because one of the challenges was, especially in the boroughs, is they've got some busy branches, and they knew they wanted to offset or offload some of the typical branch traffic or the teller traffic. And in their words, they wanted to be professional bankers again. They wanted to solve problems. So they put in smart ATMs in all locations to help the customers do those simple, basic transactions. So anyway, they approved the design. We went forward, built out the first branch itself, which in our words, we always talk about building that kit of signature elements, those parts and pieces that can then be transported to any branch in the network, scaled up or scaled down, or helps us design from a proto model using these pieces, which make it much easier for us. But the piece I wanted to talk about here was this ATM Surround. Obviously, it's kind of very clean, very stark. It's got that silver backdrop, and it's got their logo up above. So that became a signature element for the interior ATMs. We also had the ability, shortly after that project, we built out a bigger space on Madison Avenue. And as part of it, we had a great foyer. And again, we were able to replicate that ATM Surround there as well. And to date, we've, I think, renovated about 35 locations, all have that look and feel. And why I'm sharing that is because a few years ago now, they came to us and said, we have an opportunity to partner up with the Hard Rock Stadium, where the Miami Dolphins play down in Miami, and also the American Airline Arena, which is the pro basketball team. And so what they were getting was roughly 30 ATMs that were sitting in the stadiums. And this is what they looked like. So to me, it's what I always call kind of a convenience store ATM. And they said, listen, we need to come up with some sort of a surround, something that speaks to Popular, and make it a little more exciting than that sign right there. So we had audited the stadiums. We got a photograph of every ATM, the spacing, where it was located, whether it was in an alcove or on a wall. And originally we kind of came up with just some basic ideas, and some of them were just using wraps. How do we wrap the walls, create this football texture? You know, maybe we box it out, we bring in some digital. And kind of the first round of these, we weren't too excited, and to be honest, the client wasn't as well. So we went back to the drawing board and said, let's dig into this thing a bit, make it more unique, and let's go back to that signature element, which is the ATM Surround that they have. So again, we did a lot more pencil sketches, and ultimately we landed on this one right here. So it's kind of had this nice arc to it. We could put it in bright silver and build in digital signage. So we detailed out the drawings, got a better understanding of how it looked. We rendered it for the client and got their approval to kind of start with pre-production. So what we did is we built one out of wood here at our office here in New Hampshire, and to at least give them an idea of the scale, the size, the shape that we're talking about, and then kind of their fake ATM in here. So that kind of was our jump off point. And we learned some lessons of things that we wanted to do, including the signage up top. But at the end of the day, we were able to roll out 28 of these ATM Surrounds in both. These are from the Dolphin Stadium down in Miami. And in this case, we're running off of the Wi-Fi at the stadium itself. So they have a guest Wi-Fi, we're tapped into it, and we would control all of the digital signage throughout the two stadiums. And the goal of that was, both stadiums, you know, between the two, there were millions of clients a year that would go in, or prospects that would go into these stadiums. And we wanted, as they were doing a lot of renovations in Miami, to showcase to these people all the new branches that they were doing, introduce the touchscreen technology. And there were only 12 branches in that Miami market for them. So in that market, they're still fairly small, although their parent company, Banco Popular, is quite well known. So it's a great way to get some eyeballs on their new look and feel and drive consumers to them. And this is a look at one of the locations that we did with the American Airline Arena. And we had two sizes of these displays. We had a wider and a more narrow. This is a more narrow here with, I believe that's a 40-inch display, and the other ones were either 48 or 50-inch. So they gave us a couple options. So it was a fun project, but it also, for the first time, allowed them to push their digital signage beyond their branches. We often talk about how do we extend the footprint of our brand? How do we get outside of our four walls without spending $1 million every time? Digital is a great way to do it. And these ATMs, for this case, was a really great solution and allowed kind of easy access to clients if they were within these stadiums.